What is up, everyone? Welcome to the RoV Pro League unofficial English broadcast. I am D2. Joining me is The Source once again. And we only have one match for you today. It seems as if one of the matches got cancelled. Not really sure why or how. But regardless, it is going to be one probably short and sweet match. What's up, The Source?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little sad we only get one game, but should still be a good one.
There was too much excitement yesterday, so they had to cut down. They're like, it hurts too much. We can't handle it anymore. If you guys missed yesterday's game, I did cast that with Nova's manager, Jay Jesse, and it was a doozy. As it just kind of ramped up in quality as the matches progressed. We had 4v5 in our first match, which was decent but sloppy at times. And our second match, we had an absolute stomp from Bazaar, taking out TDC, and in our final match we had heavyweights Alpha Red and IT.City Bacon going at it, and IT.City Bacon taking out Alpha Red for their Alpha Red's first loss of the entire season. As we take a look at what seems to be the setup for this tournament's playoffs, and I'm guessing that's what this is, unless we're looking at something else.
No, yeah, that should be the championship. Although it's not so theirs is not a
It's not a straight gauntlet, but there's an upper
Yes.
bracket and a lower bracket. So there
Yeah.
is high incentive to get in those top two there for the upper bracket, because otherwise it is essentially a gauntlet if you start in the lower bracket. If you're 3 or 4, you are in a gauntlet situation because you have to win 3 matches to win the championship. Whereas if you're in the top, you only have to win 2.
Yeah.
No matter what. Even if you lose, you only have to win 2. So definitely want to be in that top area. That said, no matter who finishes third, I feel like they're going to stomp the 4th place team, be it IT.City Bacon, Bazaar Gaming, or Alpha Red, because there's just a huge gulf, a gap, a big space between the top 3 teams and the rest of the league, in my opinion.
A chasm of skill, if you will.
Exactly. And if you're paying attention, you would probably agree with me. I think yesterday proved a lot. Proved me a lot in that regard. As you can see, just the points themselves are pretty good for our high teams and damning for our lower teams. Alpha Red still in first after their first series loss of the season yesterday. IT.City Bacon getting ahead of Bazaar Gaming for the moment. But I wonder what's going to happen with today, because RRQ is supposed to play SNC. I guess they just gave up. They're like, these two teams aren't going to make the play. I don't even know what's going on. They're like, RRQ and SNCK, go play off stream. No one wants to see you anymore. Maybe that actually.
I'm sure there's there's a less BM reason, but
That
I mean
would be
matches
so funny.
wise, this and then I mean IT.City Bacon, they've got a couple of this is an important match for them to just kind of assert their dominance. Then they play Bazaar later down the line. So the fact that they got through Alpha Red is pretty big for them, and they could very possibly sneak into first place.
Yeah, it would definitely need to be a sneak, and Alpha Red would need to help IT.City Bacon a little bit. Keep in mind that Bazaar is kind of ahead of IT.City Bacon because they have one less series played. And on average, I would say they would get like 1.5 per series, considering that 5 of the teams they play against are like instant 2-0s. So I would say that Bazaar is probably, you can look at those standings and probably say that Bazaar is going to be ahead. All right,
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting schedule.
This is interesting. Most kills throughout the season. Looks like Alpha Red's first one has 128, leading by far. And interestingly enough, Mona Lisa with 97. I think that's more a fact that they've played more games in the top 3. And NT on the mage there, 95 kills, not too shabby himself. Usually on the Natalia. RRQ's Sadman with 95, and 007 from IT.City Bacon. He's their marksman jungler with a 93.
That's a pretty close middle of the pack. I'm actually surprised that it's that close between that many teams. Between that many players.
I think what it is that the top teams are racking up kills like crazy, and the medium to bottom teams just play a lot of matches, so they just get to all these like 3 game sets. So that's I think the reason why. But taking a look at Buriram, Arctic Wolf, Romeo, Tuno Name, Mons, J-Gods, and Cointer. We haven't seen these guys in a while, but they had an up and down week last week. They lost to Alpha Red 2-0, and then they defeated Evos 2-1, which we, I believe, casted on Wednesday. So you have a decent idea of this team.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember a little bit of how their strategies and drafts went, and I think I remember my biggest issue with them was like them opening up pretty tentatively.
Mm-hmm.
And then both games in those series, like RRQ and Buriram, they needed to lose a game to like kind of wake up and get themselves going, and then they brought it back 2 games straight. So
well, we take a look at IT.City Bacon here, the AWC finalists. And a team that's honestly, I think, shocked the world a little bit, starting with the AWC bootcamp and continuing through, not only defeating China, but crushing them on their way to those finals and narrowly losing to the Korean team in an epic 7-game series. But here they're regaining their mojo, defeating Alpha Red yesterday, and busting up the Yebeneth on Sherry. Loved it. And he was clapping fools like no other. And I kind of want to see that again today.
yeah, I'd love to see some Yebeneth just because the potential for high playmaking is there. It's one of those interesting tanks, but his ratios are really high. So I'm curious to see how the build balances between tank and damage and to see what people pull because he hasn't hit NA yet.
Oh, he
He's
has.
on the
No,
way.
he has.
Oh,
He has.
he hit NA?
Yes, he hit
I haven't played in
NA.
the last 2 days.
Well, he came out in the last few days, so there you go. Came out over the
Oh,
weekend,
nice.
and he is very fun to play. I tried to play him myself. I was very terrible at him, but he is undeniably a very good hero. Our first instincts were to stick him in the support role, but as it turns out, he's better in that side lane, in the solo lane by himself. So that's for various reasons that we can talk about a little bit later. But he is extremely good. Still pondering where to put him on the tier list, and we're leaning towards S at the very top right now.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I want to know how he's going to. I want to see how teams build him, so I'd be curious to see what the RPL does because obviously different regions have ideas, but kind of want to see like a very aggressive offensive tanky build, something very similar to what we get out of Bruisers and side laners, but like something closer to like Irie's build, and see how that goes because I think he might get away with it.
It's a little bit more tanky. He gets a bit of damage from just having. If you get multiple hits off.
Quick Yebeneth, man.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with it at all. Sherry was a beast on it yesterday, but yeah. Sherry was building, I believe, Mantle Raw into Gaia Standard, into some other stuff. I think that Fenrir's Tooth was 5th, but something like that. We've also seen Darkbreaker and some other Taiwanese pros like from SMG build Bloodied Club 2nd, which if you guys don't know, it costs 410 gold and it gives you like 10 attack and 10 lifesteal, or 10% lifesteal, which is so it's like a very cheap way to get that little extra lifesteal in the middle of a fight rather than just having to rely on being in those bushes. So anyway, I'm not going to see him this game, unfortunately, as he is banned out right away, and so is the Mina. But no Crash ban, no Chogner ban, so there is that kind of back and forth pick and in this situation. Obviously, we have the Lindis and Violet banned out here, as well as the Morin. So we're looking at Slims. We still have Valheim, so some marksmen still available. See how this goes.
I've become a far bigger believer in Fennec than I was before, but Slim's pick. We actually haven't seen Slims have a good couple of days, at least not in the GCS. He was having a lot of trouble in the GCS.
Well, part of that was because he was facing off against good teams who were picking Fennec instead. By the way, speaking of our cast of the GCS, that one game we cast where Valheim Yorn got banned in the same draft and the other team picked Wisp, whereas AHQ
Oh
versus
no,
A.
not the wisp.
Yeah, that hit Reddit. Like
The
it
wisp
had
pick.
it was well. Unfortunately, the Reddit poster didn't link to our or didn't show our stream. They showed the original stream. How dare they, right? But
Yeah.
they said it's happened. Valyord was banned, which is pretty funny to behold. Speaking of Valheim, 48.2% win rate. So not really validating the ban rate that he has, though you could say that when he's let through, people have a plan for him.
Yeah, I think the thing that changed about Valheim when he got his buff was really just strength in the beginning of the game and kind of shoring up his ability to be kind of that early game lane bully. His strategy didn't change. The way you play Valheim hasn't changed at all. You still play him roughly the same way. You just had a bit more oomph behind your hits. So people never haven't like lost the ability to know how to counter him. So I think it just came down to like how good could you execute and did you avoid getting hit during that window where he was like, oh, I'm gonna just wreck you with 2 glaives at level 2.
And we have the Grak Natalia combo, which has scared a lot of people off, which has led to a lot of Grak bans as well. And I believe yesterday when the Grak Natalia came out, it didn't do well, if I remember correctly. There was a lot of Natalia yesterday, a lot of Natalia discussion yesterday. But regardless, looking over at IT.City Bacon, they have secured the Chognar Crest combo. And unless we see a lot of picks here from the Grak and Natalia, I feel like IT.City Bacon can roll over in these team fights.
Oh yeah, there are plenty of targets for 007 to just kind of run, or well, if 007 is playing, uh, there's a lot of targets for just a Raz and a Valheim. They can kind of beat up on pretty much everybody, and I mean we've seen how powerful Marja can be, but I don't know if Marja really answers the question. There isn't a really good dive buddy for Marja other than Omen, and that's not the greatest target. So it's all going to come down to can you build up momentum with the Grok Natalia and can you turn that into insane amounts of sieging pressure and pick pressure? I mean, it's fairly one-dimensional for Buriram.
Oh,
Land the hook, win. But no,
no!
don't you dare do that.
Go Crickneck, please. Please go Crickneck.
I mean, if they pick Batman, I've got a whole thing for it. And by thing for it, I mean curse you, Batman. But
I was wondering whether they were going to go for double marksman or for an assassin. It looks like they're committed to assassin, but please just go Crickneck. Oh, that's better. That's good
no.
too. That's good too. That's good
Right.
too. Just not Batman. Okay.
I mean, if they did, that would have been like a pretty heavy like we're trying to flex. We're trying to flex here. We're trying to say we can do what we want. But dear God, IT.City Bacon, their comp is just so much more cohesive. There's multiple dive threats.
Well, until the Murad, I would say. But the Murad, you could say, is really nice for getting on top of the Slims and Natalia. You poke them down. You not necessarily kill them, unless you're like way ahead, obviously. But you can get them super low so that they can't really get into the fight very well. It's something. I guess what you could say is he gets into the back line, does some damage, and then Raz jumps in and pushes them back, especially if you have me marks on Raz who's definitely capable of doing that. But I think the Murad doesn't fit their comp, but it's fine.
Yeah, the Murad doesn't fit their comp, but at the same time,
It's not a disaster.
yeah, it's not a disaster. But my big thing is Buriram's comp is super one-dimensional. Like the hook doesn't land, and there isn't really another engage.
Yeah,
Like you
I
could
agree.
say that Marsh is going to ghost walk in. You could say that Omen's going to come in at a nice angle and get a Death's Embrace, but you can't like guarantee that. And
Marsha is very much like Raz. You don't go in unless you see an opportunity. You don't immediately engage onto the
exactly. So
team.
like you're putting it all on J Gods and Coin, or like Mons to land a Raw stun, or to No Name to land a Raw stun, and like then you're looking at raw stun skill shots or hooks, and you can generally say that most Grok players are going to land a good hook, but it doesn't feel very safe to me. it feels like you can easily abuse them, and IT.City Bacon is a team good enough to abuse pretty much anybody.
Not to mention that Chognar is about as good as you can do as far as a counter to Greg, because if he's using his first ability, then it makes him immune to that CC. He can actually prevent... If he's a god on his Chaos Protection, he can actually prevent his team from getting hooked as well. So that's something to look out for. By the way, I was thinking that Buriram wanted the Marja opposite the Valheim, because she's one of the only people that can actually kind of deal with him, but they're going with the Omen. I hope that J-God's Omen is good, because if it's not, he's going to get run over. It's one of Omen's one of those weird characters where if you're not good with him, he can really struggle, but if you are good with him, you can own the game single-handedly, so I want to see how this matchup plays out.
That's definitely true. I'm a terrible Omen. I'm an absolute trash tier Omen. But we've got Cointer taking a little bit of damage. Spear comes through. They're playing this fairly slowly. Moss gets pulled in by Jago.
Cointer. Oh, flicker it.
He gets over the wall, but in comes Memarks. He's going to go in there as well. You've got 007. He's pinned them all up against the wall. He doesn't have his... No, he just got his ultimate up. That's going to be Mons going down. Then they turn on to Romeo. Another power switch comes through. Memarks is there. And hello, we are IT.City Bacon. Let's just kill everybody, just your entire team. I mean, J-God survived, but what does that even really mean?
Cointer completely out of position there, and that's not what you want to see happen. It's almost better to have one of your damage dealers get caught, because then your support can peel for them, right? If your support's the one dying, he's running away, he can't really do much. The rest of your team tries to come help, and they're just sitting ducks because, again, there's nothing to block the damage or peel the damage or do anything about the damage, and it just comes rolling in. Murat has free reign, Memarks has free reign, and they're all just dead.
Yeah, and I mean, Buriram, they tried to swap the lanes, but that's going to be going to re-engage on. He still doesn't have ultimate to get double push back. Memarks has got him dead to rights. Power Surge goes in. They are going to get a little bit of pressure. J-Gods comes in, gets a pull back, but in the back line, 007 is killing 2 no-name. Then you've got a dash out by Memarks. Here comes Romeo. He gets the Ghost Walk. That's good damage. Ultimate out from Murad. That's going to be a good metamorphosis, and they've got a kill. They've got another. It's the entire team of Buriram being routed in their own jungle. 7-1, 3 minutes into the game. I don't think we could find a game that snowballed more out of control any faster.
And to be honest, they were lucky to get that one kill. I suppose not lucky, but it was nice that Mons was actually able to land those Arcane Spirits and pick up the damage there for that kill. Honestly, it could have just been 8-0 or 7-0 at this point. I feel like they were fortunate to even get that one kill. That's how bad of a situation that Team Fart started out in.
And I don't know why they took that again. And just like Cointer's gonna die. He doesn't have ultimate. Just let him go. Just let him go. And they just feel.
Oh wow! Flicker in.
Stunned.
Oh my
Everything
goodness.
goes in.
Sherry just flickers in with no fear whatsoever. They're gonna cut this wave off as well while they're at it. And rotating.
They're gonna catch them. They've got 2 no-name. Everything comes out. They're all dead. They're still dead.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you World Devour when you have no damage to follow it up. Remix even going to pop his ultimate here to shove off J-Gods and say, no, it's not going to happen. Oh, maybe. Ooh, wow. Okay, outplayed. Got a little bit greedy there. I thought that the Death Embrace was already popped, because otherwise, why would you be that aggressive? But I guess when your entire team is killing them, it's really hard to throw at this point anyway.
I mean, you were talking about some games being real quick. There's a part of me that thinks like this is basically over. Like
it is. It absolutely is.
It's like, okay, nice Ghost Walk, dodges the temporal turbulence, but like that's just retreating. They've already given up 2 Abyssal Dragons.
Well,
has it been that? No, 1. This is the second one to come up. Like it's been that fast. Cointer caught out again, gets caught, and just everything dies. Everything dies.
I try to make a point about this game, and Buriram just can't stop feeding. It's like they're committing the cardinal sin of not only AoV but of MOBAs in general. When you get behind, you don't keep fighting because you're just gonna fall further behind. You're essentially you're fighting a disadvantaged situation, and if you're not contesting something that you absolutely need to win or to not lose the game, like if they're on your core, then yes, you have to take it or else you will die. Otherwise, there's no reason for them to be taking these fights. You're just going to guarantee that you lose the game.
Marks is just like,
Oh!
he's just waiting. He was literally just like, I'm gonna get you eventually. Like you're stuck under the tower. You've already used Ghost Walk. The minion wave is coming. This is a done deal, my friend. It's only a matter of time. Bottom tower is gonna go down. I mean, yeah, response, take the Sentinel, get what you can, but Buriram is living on a prayer right now. They would need to find a massive team wipe just to start to stabilize. They would need to do it again to stabilize gold-wise, then take some towers. They're 5k gold behind. Finished items are coming through on every member.
Oh, the
IT.City
dodge!
Bacon. Sure, he's got the jukes. Cointer can't do anything, and Cointer's just been, a punching bag for this Raz. Just don't go in the jungle, Cointer. It's not safe.
Yeah, I gotta say, Cointer has been the LVP. We don't usually want to declare LVPs, but it's just so glaring that can't really ignore it at this point. And Sherry just providing that bait, almost wanted to get hooked there at that point. Looks like Arcane Spirits from Moz. Smart play, trying to scout out the opposing team. But at this point, even the level event is providing that defense for Raz so that he can stay alive. And speaking of which, they're staying alive onto the tower. Ghostwalk only going to do a little bit to get away, but down go the teammates. Toon looks like he's going to be going down as well. Eventually, no, there's a tower here. Why is there a tower here?
They've just kind of never taken it, but Remix, he just destroys it. Like, there are very few times where I'll say surrender a game. This is one of them. Because, or correction, this is one of them if your team is going to get tilted by the loss. If you can move past the fact that this game is basically a wash, and you can spend the rest of the time, you'll play it out, you'll play it slowly, you'll look for an opportunity, but you focus on the idea that, okay, we need to come up with a new strategy, and use the time to come up with
finally
strategy.
A hook. Too late for that hook, and I should have been in the early game.
That's the first hook, and you're 13 kills behind, my friends. Like, there's 6k gold lead advantage. This is...
I guess one thing you could say is that if they're a bit tilted, maybe they need this time to compose themselves during this garbage time.
Yeah. No. Well, it depends on the type of team you are. If you're the type of team that's just going to sit here and get more tilted by the game, maybe you surrender, maybe you X out and take your time, during the break. If you're a team that can kind of move past that, then use the rest of the time here to talk about what's going wrong. What are you failing to do? And start devising strategies, because this is just such a difficult, this is a lead that's going to be difficult to come back from. Every second you can get to kind of figure out what you want to do, the better.
Yeah, to be fair, okay, if these teams were reversed, I think that IT.City Bacon could come back because they've been a little bit sloppy and they only quote unquote have a 6k gold lead. So it is comebackable. I just don't see it with these teams. I feel like even if Buriram pulled off something miraculous and even the gold score on the towers, then IT.City Bacon would buckle down and just finish them anyway. But it is comebackable. Let's say that. I just don't feel like these are the teams for which it's going to happen.
The only reason I don't think that Buriram can come back at all is because there's a Murad on the other team, and Murad is far past the point of being even, which means you've got all of this essentially free damage you cannot really avoid. He can go in, engage, leave, set himself up again. He's going to have another temporal turbulence to just free engage on you once more.
Oh, jeez.
And just do that and then leave. And because Murad can do that, he's not behind.
They almost got him, actually.
That was good. I mean, they get the pull on a Sherry, but then there's just protection and they get another kill. That's the problem. Is there's just so much free damage that they can't really avoid on the side of Buriram, and they don't have a really good front line to handle it. They needed momentum. The composition was based around, we're going to get these hooks early, we're going to get this momentum, and then we're just going to never let up. And that momentum died at a minute 20 when Cointer got picked.
Well, J-God is doing his best. He's able to take out me marks in the mid there while all of this was happening, thanks to the split screen for that one. And Remix going to go ahead. Metamorphosis is onto the core. Members are going extremely low. Mond is going down. Toon is going down. All members here except for the Raz, but that doesn't matter because J-God is going to forfeit his life. Romeo's getting extremely low. Ghost walks out. One member dies for IT.City Bacon, but so too does Cointer. They're just pushing on these high ground towers just in case things go long. I still have Sherry near the core here with minions. I don't believe they're going to be able to finish right this moment with Marja being a nuisance, but yeah, okay, she's able to hold on.
I mean, that's a defense that kept them alive, but I'm
Technically.
looking that is technically defense, but I'm looking at these items here, and like Sherry's looking at 3, 4 items. Yeah, there was a lot of damage coming out of Moss, who's built a soaring aura as well. So just stacking up, some extra defenses plus some extra damage. You've got the Murad, who's finished through the point of most of his core and is now starting to just stack raw damage. And like he has that on hit, he's got that armor shred, he's got his Reaver or his Soul Reaver built up. Like it's just, okay. They're gonna need multiple defenses, and they need to pick Murad out. Like 007 doesn't get to survive and do a bunch of damage.
Okay, question time. What is Lapis Ring? And that's 1 tier 2 magic damage.
Zweihander.
Zweihander. Oh, okay. Oh, right.
Yeah.
You do get mana for that. That's right. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense.
At least that I'm guessing that's what he's building. That is the only thing I can think of to build on an on-hit Valheim that would make sense. It'll give him the extra attack speed to make him. It'll give him extra attack speed, and at this point, it's effectively a fun item. I still don't believe in the double slow items. I'm gonna curse that till the day I die. / it makes more sense. But at this point, he can kind of build what he wants. That was a good juke from J Gods, but he needs to be with the team on this defense, or be coming in from an odd angle and maybe get a flank.
Yeah, I think Zweihander is somewhat standard at the moment. Either that or one of the other attack items like Clava Sancti. In comes 007 getting lots of damage, and Cointer's getting extremely low. Going to get taken out by combination of heroes there. A remix still in the backline somehow. Just Metamorphosis is keeping alive for ages. J-God's going to go ahead and pull the Death's Embrace. Going to take him out. Mons and 2 need to retreat to the core here. Going to be a 4v3 situation. Can they take out the core this time? J-God's nice pull onto 007. He's getting low himself. Gonna get uppercutted by Memarks into oblivion as Toon and Mons look on. They sacrifice their comrade there. And
I mean, Buriram has been able to defend because they've got incredibly good wave clear, but this is eventually gonna end.
Them watching the J-Gods die kind of reminded me of this term in Japanese that you hear a lot in Attack on Titan, Migoroshi. They watch him die. And there's not a good there's not a great translation for it into English, but it's just that's like the funny thing. I just watched that happen. I'm like, Migoroshi Sunna. I'm like, don't watch your friends die.
It fits. It fits. I mean, what are they gonna do? Like, how are they gonna save him? They can't save him.
They can try. Okay, if your friend's gonna die, you die with him. Especially because J-God has really been the only one who's played well this game. Let's be honest. Oh, the
True.
super duper minions are here in full force. I love super duper minions.
Yeah, I mean, J-God's playing the sideline, but like here's I guess the thing for me is that like Buriram is starting to get their items. The gold lead is starting to be negated.
Yeah, it's 9-0 though in towers.
Yeah, so it's a battle of attrition. They would need some god tier defenses to kind of make anything happen. And
well, the biggest thing is when you get into a situation where you're this far behind, the only way you can really win is to have like not even 1 but 2 crazy fights. Yeah, J-God's has been really good. Yeah, so if they get like the thing is, it would have to be 2 amazing fights, but then again, you still can't even push through mid because Cointer is just he flickered ulted in, but only had 1 member, and now he's gonna die. That was not a good flicker ult.
They got Moss though.
Yeah, Moss goes down. Remix is getting extremely low as well. Toon is picking up lots of kills. He gets extremely low. Gets power surged to 1 HP. J-God's gonna go in, potentially take out Memarks. Memarks didn't even realize he was there. Looks like a bit of a pathing error from J-God's. Couldn't get it in. Oh, he gets the Arctic Orb, and he's gonna go down. Wow, that was
had the damage to trade, but I mean. Again, it's just going to be so difficult for them to push, but IT.City Bacon is kind of throwing a little bit here. They lose 007 on the side. They end up taking the 4v5, and they don't clutch it out. Mons manages to get off his full kit of damage. Sherry goes in, but I don't know if going for Mons was the right target. Okay, 007 is here. Never mind. It's fine.
Well, it makes sense in a way, because if you ignore Mons, then he has free reign to aim at you, and then you will just get blown up. So that's the issue there. They did get the Dark Slayer. Speaking of Buriram, good dodge in the Ghost Walk from the Temporal Surveillance there. Gointer just kind of being a punching bag here for Sherry. Same thing with 007 taking a lot of damage as well. They're barely able to survive their base. I feel like these Super Trooper minions have more health than like Murad here. It's like
Oh,
way
they definitely do, and we're starting to see a problem with Sherry's build where like the damage isn't there.
right. He's not
Like
dying
it's
though, so there is that.
no, he's not gonna die, but like, okay, this
Right.
is a true hybrid build. Please, please, for the love of God, sell one of those slow items and add more damage.
Yeah, the Reyes blessing is. I mean, if you look at it, people don't know why you can build like a hybrid with the like this triple hybrid, which doesn't even make sense as a word. Looks like I'm gonna be pushing in here and trying to finish this off. Some damage. Actually, Murray's not chunking them down like he used to. But they're gonna push in here with these super mains. I don't think they're gonna end the game. Well, they had nice metamorphosis. They're getting some damage in. In comes the World Breaker, but the Chaos Production's in there as well. Many members going down. Cointer's going to go down as well. Romeo already used his Ghost Walk. He's going to fall, and that is finally likely going to be game. J God's doing his best to defend the core, but he dies instantly. And IT.City Bacon, I was not expecting to win in 16 minutes and 40 seconds, but in the end, they take it.
Yeah, I would expect. I was expecting the game to end a lot sooner, but
It looks so. That is the saddest winning team I've ever seen.
they were probably like, how did that take us an extra 5 minutes?
Yeah,
Like they're confused how that took an extra 5 minutes, but yeah, the Valheim build started to fall off. The Murad didn't have Fenrir, so there was that kind of lack of end game spike damage, which does make some kind of sense. But I'm just like, I'm looking at this Valheim build. Yeah, Cointer. That was a bad one.
Okay, do you think that there's been so many Grak bans that he forgot how to play Grak?
No, I think that we saw IT.City Bacon
No, he
play.
was. No, he was so out of position though.
No, but like he was out of position, sure, right? But IT.City Bacon managed to kill them all, and then he did it.
No.
Then he did it again, and
Okay,
you
well-
can blame a lot of that on Cointer. But the rest of his team showed up and decided to help. Like they could have left Cointer to die.
Yeah.
and...
Okay. They should have left Cointer to die. Yes, but
Yeah.
he's still. I love how the Raz just like stayed alive through that fountain hit. Anyway, they should have left him to die, but even if they had left him to die, they'd be down first blood, and it could have snowballed anyway.
Oh no, it was definitely bad positioning by him, but I don't even know if that's like forgetting how to play that one character, because there was just such a quick aggressive collapse from the side of IT.City Bacon that it looked to me just like they were capitalizing on just a massive lapse in judgment. I don't know if it's related to the rack or not.
I suppose not many supports these days have like a dash to get out, so regardless of who he was playing, he's going to be out of position. It just was very bizarre.
Yeah. No, it was definitely highly unexpected for that to happen, but like I put less of it on him being out of position and more on the rest of his team for showing up. And then he over aggressed in his positioning. Like it was a good bush gank from IT.City Bacon, and then his team showed up to help him again, and they all died. And it was just like we just did this. Like we just went through this series of events. If they're picking him, let him die and focus on picking up the farm.
Right. Well, even after that somewhat snowbally game, IT.City Bacon not too happy with themselves. Gonna have to shore up those weaknesses. And I know we're focusing on IT.City Bacon a lot, but they are the defending champions. They are the AWC finalists. And at the end of the day, as rude as it may sound to Buriram Arctic Wolf, they're not going to be much of a factor when it's all said and done. And IT.City Bacon, if they're going to be winning this league and or going far in the AIC, got to shore up that play.
Oh, for sure. To me, the most disturbing thing for IT.City Bacon, like the thing why like they're not happy about that game, because they should have won it at 10 minutes and it took them an extra 6. And the reason they're unhappy is because they couldn't close it out. And I know it may not have been completely this, but I put a lot of it on the Valheim build. because if you're getting that fed that fast, build glass cannon. Or at least build a more damage-oriented build.
Right.
Because if one of those tank items is that Zweihander, even if you keep it with that hybrid, if one of those is that Zweihander, then by the time that you have built that 6-item build, you're 1 damage item up. Like by the time he was hitting Cointer. Cointer is 0-10, and he's hitting Cointer, and he hits him with 5 auto attacks, and it does nothing. It just breaks the shield.
Right.
That's just not like that right there is why you can't end.
Yeah, and people underestimate the level disadvantage that it will give a team or go against a team, because I've seen so many cases where the gold isn't that far off, but because of the level disadvantage, which I guess is like a weird thing to say, but it happens sometimes, the level, like for instance, like a jungler, an assassin jungler, or a marksman can usually take out another squishy pretty easily, no matter what. Especially if you have a certain amount of items, like you hit your power spike with your 3rd or 4th item. But sometimes just simply being behind in levels makes it so that they have that extra defense and that extra HP, which makes it so hard to take through. But we are into this next game, and I see no Lindis or Violet bans yet.
Interesting. The Chognar ban, sure. The Morin ban, 50-50. The Grak ban...
They banned it so that their own team wouldn't take it.
Yeah, like, that's what that feels like to me. It's like, let's just stop ourselves from wanting it.
That's Romeo or Mons, whoever. I don't know how it works with 3 bans, who does it first, but Romeo's saying, Cointer, you're not taking Grak, just like solo queue ban. Oh my goodness. Have you ever done that in solo queue where you ban a player?
All the time. Rarely will be if I just played with somebody and they played something really badly and they end up on my team again, or I like rolled somebody in lane on the other team and they're on my team in the next match, I will totally ban the thing they played, because it's just
Actually, I think that was the source of a quarter of the Superman bans before his nerf, because every time Batman or Superman made it through, my team would pick him and he would just be terrible. So I'm like, we're banning Superman, not just for the opposing team, but for our team as well.
Yeah, no, I totally subscribe to that idea in theory. I'm glad that granted it is going to be a marksman jungler. I hope they don't end up doing some double marksman shenanigans.
Okay, well, we need to address a question in chat, because Mina is considered one of the top supports among basically every single region.
Yeah, Mina's 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
like Mina is great because everything she does is fairly easy to land, fairly difficult to respond to.
Well, the point is, just to make this brief, she is definitely ban worthy, or at least first pick worthy in that regard. Grak isn't. It's just a Thailand thing where they kind of estimate how good he is, especially if they're one of the lower teams in this league.
Let's go. Let's go, Yeboneth.
Yep, and going with the Marja as well.
I'm just excited I get to see Yeboneth play.
You know what's interesting is Thailand, after yesterday, is finally learning that Malak isn't first ban / first pick worthy.
They have come to the conclusion he is no longer god tier.
Right, and I think it was like a wave of knowledge, and in which the top teams did their homework and saw in the GCS over the weekend that Marja just destroys him. And never mind.
No, don't do it, Buriram.
Oh my goodness, he's going to get wrecked. He gets wrecked by both of those heroes. He gets killed by Yeboneth too.
Oh no, Buriram, why?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, yeah, you took away the Raz, but that's not going to protect you. You let them have Lindis. They also have Yeboneth. And this is going to end badly.
And Memarks can play a whole host of things. I think we're going to see Liliana, but I'm not too sure. His best heroes are Liliana, Flash, and Raz. Though he can play Crixie. And as I say that, Crixie comes up on the screen. And Teamy.
Teamy. To roll with the Lindis.
Yeah. I suppose with Marja, they feel like they don't have enough of a front line to help out the Lindis. So, nope, just getting Mike over the Xenial instead. Yeah, I feel like it's not so needed. Because there's not much dive from Buriram.
Yeah, you're... okay, so... I guess the Xenial is their hard side laning. How are they going to play this, though? Because you've basically got 3 side laners unless you're putting the Yevnef in more of a support role.
Yeah, I'm confused as well.
Because you're going to want Marja pushing and wrecking the Malik. You're going to want Xenial getting farm and rotating in. You've got high rotation speed on the Lindis. And you've got...
I kind of want to see this. Maybe they're experimenting. This might be an experiment. They feel like they're so good that they can just mess around and try Ibanez in the support role. I think they want to try it. It's like, let's see how it works. Because, you know, your first instinct looking at Ibanez is to say, oh, he has the Redwood Rush, which is the second part of his first ability, which is kind of like Thane's pushback. Except he has it, like, so often in team fights, it's extremely spammable, and you think, oh, he has that, he can do, you know, he can engage with that, but and all of his abilities are good at hitting multiple heroes, so he wants to be in sort of team fights and skirmishes. The problem is that he doesn't have the initial engage. His abilities are all very low range, and he can't dash or anything. Again, his Redwood Rush, his only dash is a conditional ability, right? You need to have damage the other heroes beforehand, so you can't just walk in and push a hero back like you can with Thane. Now, it's much better than Thane's once you're in the middle of a fight, so it's kind of works for him better if he's that second initiator, the off tank that gets in afterward, and then he's just able to push people around like crazy. That's why he's not the greatest as a support, I should say. And he feels very much like an Aram situation where, yes, he can play support, but only if you need him to be in that situation. Otherwise, he'd rather be in the solo lane.
I'm gonna hazard. So they gave it to Sherry. So it's gonna be in that solo lane. But
right. So Moss is on Xenial.
Yeah, which makes me think that the way they're gonna try and play this game is it's all about rotational value and getting there first. Getting into position first and bullying Buriram just by sheer force, because how badly they were wrecking them last game. I'm thinking they believe that they have the potential to just bully the crap out of them, and they're looking to see how far they can push the limits on Yebineth.
Okay, I know that Daniel has a support tag on his role, but I've never seen him played as an actual roaming support before.
I mean, not in competitive, but I think he's a hilarious roaming support if played properly, because he still gets a lot of his job done without necessarily needing that side lane gold. It just comes down to execution, which again makes me think they're looking for, like, they're like, okay, we just rolled them, right? How far can we push this? Can we figure out a way to make this combination work? Because they must see that, like, the team fight value or some other kind of value makes sense for them.
By the way, look at how quickly Sherry's able to clear that out. Oh my goodness, J-God's getting out the remake. Doesn't have his ultimate, obviously. And that minion's going to die without Marja picking it up. So, tiny victories here. That's about a 40 gold advantage and some experience, as well as a 3v3 is brewing up here. Moss goes in, tries to pop his shields with that Malleus. But both sides are going to back off.
Yeah, and keeping vision of them, you're about to have the Missile Dragon up. IT.City Bacon has the positioning, but
yeah, they're burning down the
for?
Spirit Sentinel really quickly, so they can probably rotate back in time. And they're going to go ahead and try to contest this Abyssal Dragon afterwards. So overall, good movements by Buriram so far. Let's see what they can do with this potential team fight. Only 2 members here in the vicinity for IT.City Bacon, but other members are rotating over. Mon's trying to play Gatekeeper, and Abyssal Dragon goes away with Buriram, but in comes Sherry, gets the execute, but he's going to get taken out before he can do anything at all. That's absolutely terrible. Moss is going to jump in. I do not like that jump in from Moss. He's probably going to forfeit his life for that. Cointer flickers away before she can take more damage. Double Seven's in there, in the middle of everything. Memarks tries to get some stuff done, but gets pushed back by Mont as well. Remix is a little bit too late on the Marja. And that was a fight that IT.City Bacon could not take after the Ibanez died. Ibanez is such an important factor in these fights as what just controlling the opposing team, slapping them together with his branching out, and using that Redwood Rush as well as his ultimate ability to just keep them in place and slow them down as well as do that damage. He's just too important of a team fight force that once he went down, they had to disengage.
Yeah, and that's just hubris from IT.City Bacon thinking that they can, again, kind of make that play without having the Moonfall, without having the, what is that one called? Nature's Realm from Yebeneth, where he could have just sat there and just kind of survived. So they pick a really aggressive fight after losing the objective without having the ultimates on the support, or on the support and the sideliner, and it's just that was probably just a little bit too much from them. So let's see how they take a more conditional fight, because 007 was looking to finish targets. He just couldn't. Like, there were too many additional heals. That there's the heal from Romeo that comes through. There's all this extra defense from the team grouping up. They put some pressure on the Toon. They hit him under the tower. Mons is going to back up. Ultimate comes out from Memarks, but doesn't really connect onto anything. And Brim will walk away having gotten a couple of ultimates burned.
Yeah, it's exactly like you said, though, because even though it's so tempting to jump in when the other opposing members are low, if you don't have a meat shield in front of you, and they do, you can't really get to those low targets, and it ends up being a lot more health than you bargained for because people are just getting in your way. Well, Buriram is still 1,000 gold ahead as we have this Abyssal Dragon pop up once more. And members are kind of congregating around in the area. And one thing that Moss needs to be careful of that is he's not in the side lane, so he doesn't have nearly the damage as he normally would have. Going to go ahead and use his Angelic Splendor to get inside there, help out. Cointer taking a lot of damage on the backside. Moss is going to Malleus in, but he's taking a lot of damage in the meantime. Romeo with a big Malleus in, or excuse me, Shock in. And Sherry's going to pop his ultimate Nature's Realm, doing so much work. Going to take out the Romeo with the help of Remax. Big slap, done. Big Redwood Rush onto 2. Gets the double Redwood Rush in that situation, and that was absolutely massive. And that is the power of Yebeneth, folks.
I'm the firmest believer in getting your supports and like get your whole team to level 4, because that was the fight that team fight should have been. If Sherry had gone in the previous Dragon play, goes into the middle of the team and instantly pops the ultimate, probably would have survived, had them all grouped together, could have gotten multiple stacks off of the Nature's Realm, and that increase in the shield 2% onto 4 different targets, 8% per hit, per seat. Like, it just would have been perfect, and he was level 3. That's the fight they could have taken, and we saw how effective that was. When Yebeneth was that frontline target, when he was absorbing damage, and then all of a sudden they realized they couldn't fight him, it was already too late, they were committed. So, IT.City Bacon, like, rallying back, but I think that's how that first fight should have gone.
Well, at the end of all of that, good job by Toon on that Slims, taking advantage of the failed push on bottom from IT.City Bacon and getting that damage in. But here comes Nature's Realm once more, and Cointer getting extremely low. Gonna pop the snare onto Moss, but they're gonna go in right afterward and take him out. Sherry with that execute to finish the job. Don't want to deal with those beasts in the meantime. Gonna clear the way and move on. So IT.City Bacon, after a couple of fights, they have firmly taken that gold lead right back.
Yeah, and having not seen a lot of Yebeneth yet, I very much like how committed Sherry was to that play, because it was they caught him on just the edge of those seeds, just the smallest edge of how the seeds bursted into an AoE to keep him there long enough, and then they forced Cointer to, burn the ultimate, try and engage, try and make something happen. We've got 007 stepping forward. He steals? No, he doesn't steal. away the Might Golem. Moss is going to get
That's
slowed down. That's a
Embrace.
lot of stun possible damage, but they've got the Angelic Splendor. They've got everybody being healed up. Toon will go down. In comes a nice Mischief from Memarks. He's going to steal away the double buff, and J-Gods goes back in. That might have been a miscalculation. Nobody from IT.City Bacon felt confident to re-engage on that, but that is going to be the top tower going down. Maybe they'll even push that in for a or just go to the other side of the map and get Dragon.
That was really funny with Moss being stuck in the Death's Embrace and trying to Angelic Splendor over and not being able to move out of it. He still got the heal on his team because they were right there anyway, but just kind of a comical situation. In any case, IT.City Bacon actually taking a pretty massive lead considering they were behind about 1.5k gold just a couple minutes ago, but J-God's taking quite a bit of damage, double slowed, pops the Death's Embrace, but he is dead. D-E-D dead. Memarks putting a little pressure on. He's in a little bit of trouble. Is the snare going to come out? Nope, neither is the spear. At least going to connect in that regard, but 7 taking some damage. They're going to try to push in. Toon's doing a decent job at least getting as much farm as humanly possible, except for that one from 7, but you see the pressure coming up here from IT.City Bacon.
Yeah, and even last game, like, it was only once he had 4 items that Toon really had that much effect on the Slims, and I think we're just starting to see that Slims is not bad, but teams are being able to accelerate beyond that. Cointer is going to go in with the snare. They will
flicker out!
Memark flickers away! The shot goes in, a nice knockback, or pull in by Sherry. Out comes the Nature's Realm. That's going to give them the extra stun. They're able to get another kill onto 7. He could step into that brush, but he's actually going to get pulled back in. J-God makes a solid play. They do get the Malik down, and Memark, he's still there. He didn't leave. That was a 4v5. Remix never showed up to that fight.
I'm actually confused about how that Redwood Rush. It's a very hard couple of words to say. Redwood Rush didn't push back the J-Gods. It seemed like it didn't miss, but well, regardless, Remix is doing a lot of damage to this tower, and so too is he doing damage to the Raz on the other end, trying to protect that. But protect it he does. And Buriram trying to come back into this game. They are only down 1,000 gold, whereas before they were a bit farther behind earlier. But they've taken significant structural damage, and nothing on the side of IT.City Bacon has fallen yet.
I wonder... I'm thinking about interesting... Oh, no. Moss is going to get stunned. Moss is going to get snared. Moss is going to go down. Toon does manage to get that kill. Memark steps forward. Mischief is out. The shot goes in from Romeo. It doesn't connect onto anything. Remix is now showing up to this one. 007 on the other side of the wall, but can't step into a brush, so he will be slowed down. Eats some extra damage from Mons. But now he's setting this up again. Sherry looking on the side. Toon is going to be able to rebuff him momentarily, and the fight will be slowed down. So nothing else going to come of that, but... I was specifically thinking about the M&F build, and I'm like, what would happen if he built a Spear of Longinus? Like, how would those stacks work on the armor shred with a Nature's Realm?
Oh my god, he stole it!
He steals it! He steals it without actually having the punish. Toon is going to be caught out. Cointer is going to go down 3, instantly dead from the side of Buriram, and they lose the Abyssal Dragon. Dear God, Sherry, that was great.
I mean, no punish though, so... Or, he doesn't have punish on him, I should say. So that was very sloppy there from Buriram, allowing him to take that, not securing it themselves, and they are just pushing in. When 3 members die at the same time, it's extremely hard to hold on to these towers because you have very few defending. Trying to go ahead and take this out. The members are getting back up here, and bolts are being popped in order to secure that. Looks like Romi's going to go in with a shock, but get taken out as it was too little too late. The tower was already down there, and they are rotating on to this mid-high ground tower as well. In comes Redwood Rush, getting so much damage, and just the snare doesn't do anything at all as she's already so low in health. In comes the Angelic Splendor just to get that extra healing in. Remix taking a lot of damage. They don't have any minions left, so they're not going to be able to finish the game, at least right this instant. But here comes the next minion wave. Can they finish it right here, right now? Sherry taking some damage, but that's fine because the flicker in and the moonfall from Memarks is enough to take them down. Mon taking some damage as well. He flickers in, and that's going to be game.
I mean, he died for the cause. He went for the final play, but that was, I think, the game IT.City Bacon. They feel probably a little bit better about that game because it went more even. I'm still back on that first dragon fight where it's like that was a miscalculation. You clean that up, and you look like the team that beat Alpha Red. You take that out, and Alpha Red best be scared, because I didn't really see a lot of mistakes from IT.City Bacon.
Well, there was a period of time from the end of game 1 to the beginning of game 2 where they were pretty sloppy, but the bookends were pretty nice. We can say that.
I mean that period of time where they failed to do that, I blame a lot of that on build, and I blame a lot of that on like I like the game was already won in their minds, so they kind of let it slip away. But like when they were on point, it looked pretty good from them. I mean, Buriram had some moments, but I'm still back on Buriram's composition. I think that they ran into some compositional issues.
Something went wrong with your mic for just a moment there, as the headphone users are deaf right now, unfortunately. Taking a look.
I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Taking a look at these stats right here, nice 31% and 27% here from 007 and me Marks, dishing out that damage to their opponents, and I feel like it might have possibly been better to ban out the Yeboneth rather than the Grak. What say you?
Oh, I totally agree. Because when that Yeboneth just set up, but I don't know. I'm still back on like where Malik is not the pick in so many ways. I think that Slims needs to be reconsidered. Teams need to think about him more than just picking him like all the other marksman junglers, because we're just seeing how long it takes for him to ramp up and how easy it is for teams to abuse him. Like, I still like Slims. I think he's a great character. I just think that teams are picking him too often into compositions where they don't have enough to protect him. They don't have enough to get him to that spot where he's really gonna wreck house. And it's harder to play we're gonna use Slim Spirit. So IT.City Bacon, they get a clean 2-0 and are ever approaching Alpha Red in the standings.
Yeah, that said, Alphabet has one less match played. Bazaar Gaming, it should be said, if they just play their 2 matches, could surpass IT.City Bacon. So, a little bit misleading, these standings here, because IT.City Bacon actually has 11. Wait, what happened? Did Sponsor just drop out of the league? Is that what happened? Because they have 8 matches played.
No, because they would have played today, and that would have put them at 9, and then they would have just had more games in their schedule. Because Bazaar Gaming is at 9, so I'm assuming that that's just the one missed game. I can check it real quick though. 1, 2, 5, 6. So they had, aside from today, they have 5 more games left.
So that put them at 14.
Yeah. So if they have 6 games left if you counted the game they missed today. So yeah, it would have mathed out. They would have been fine. It's just because they skipped today.
I'm just wondering why the first match of today didn't happen. That's all. Like, what's going on? But yeah. Only one match today. IT.City Bacon crushes Buriram Arctic Wolves, like we thought they would. And just getting a look at our studio here, or not our studio, but their studio. Sponsored by True Move H. Well, that will be it for us.
Are we switching over to the GCS tomorrow?
Yes. So tomorrow, even though there are RPL matches, they aren't the best matches. It's SNCK versus Bazaar. That's going to be a stomp by Bazaar. And TDC versus Evos. And that's just going to be not the highest.
It should be Evos winning that.
Maybe? I don't know. Anything can happen if it's the bottom 5 teams, in my opinion. So yeah, if we're gonna skip games, then those are a couple of good games to skip. Tomorrow actually starts really early. Are you up for it?
Yeah.
It starts at, I think it starts at 4 p.m. Taiwanese time.
And it's all a matter of just balancing out my sleep and making sure I set things up timing wise. Granted, this is taking a hit to my stream, but
Rip
I will
stream.
eventually figure out the best time to stream with this stuff in mind.
Rip stream.
Yeah, my stream's taking a hit.
So for those of you at home, should do this so that they don't think that the girls have a really low voice. It starts at 4 p.m. Taiwanese time, which would be
when do the games normally
1 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay. So yeah, so they're just 12 hours ahead of me. So that's 4 a.m. my time.
Yes, 1 a.m. Pacific time, morning, like I don't know, depending on where you live in Europe, like 9 a.m. in Europe ish. And yeah. So I am actually pretty tired, so I'm not going to be doing any more streaming after this. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, and have fun playing AoV on the Switch. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.